and the wad is propelled down the barrel. Just after leaving the barrel, the wad opens so the shot can spread.
That's raw.
In a second.
Can be.
So earlier I made a video on how shotguns are weaker than they used to be, and I'm going to dive into every aspect that I can on this topic. So in 2019 I made this ammo chart about leg meta, hit to kill, and DPS and all that jazz, and I always wanted to do a deep dive video, but there was no offline mode, so it was not something that was easily testable. But now there is an offline mode and the Tarkov mechanics has changed, so now's as good as time as any to do another video. First, we gotta go over the basics once again. Some armor has armored level 2 to 3 underbody with hard plates on top. Some armor is also soft level 4 in the front, but it has much lower durability. The plates in general are extremely tanky, and if a plate stops a bullet, it does no blunt damage. They used to heavily reduce damage in conjunction with the under armor, but they just did a Tarkov armor update. High pin ammo used to be randomly stopped by armor plates. I don't believe that's the case anymore. But also, plates don't seem to reduce the damage of ammo that penetrates it anymore. I believe that is a bug, but that is just how it works currently. So slugs that aren't AP20 have a horrible hit to kill on plates. Like, you could not realistically break through a plate with a slug that is not AP20. AP20 used to 1 to 2 tap level 4 and 3 to 4 tap level 5. On the 6B13 now, it is a 1 to 5 tap level 4. Prior to this most recent armor update, you could actually penetrate the plate and it would reduce the damage enough not to 1 tap. I had an incident where it penetrated the plate, then the next shot was stopped by the plate, so it did 0 damage. But now it seems if you penetrate the plate, you do seem to 1 tap. 50 BMG and AP20s can 1 tap the soft armored level 2 parts of armors, but I feel like SMGs are superior in almost every way in this aspect. I did a short that showed that a lot of SMGs can get cheap ammo that can 2 tap the armored level 2 body as well. So for your shotgun, let's assuming you're using the MP153, it is your most accurate semi-fire shotgun with an 8+1 mag capacity. Now compare this to SMGs that you can get plus 30 rounders for without much higher fire rate, don't require modding to have better ergo, they have a much faster reload, and with more shots you have more chances to headshot, but also you're putting much more rounds down range, which gives you more chances to not hit the plate that can really stop your bullet. Now SMGs also cause much better flinching. Now here's a clip where I kill someone, then I run the flank to kill his supposed teammate. He's using SP7 and a Keter, and he ends up tagging me first, and see what he does to my vision. Blurs up my vision so bad I have a hard time keeping track of his head, and while he's leg shotting me, he starts to work his way up my chest and hits my plate, and he does no damage, but he still does the flinch effect. And he ends up finishing me with blunt damage on my level 2 armored armor. I'm sure you already experienced it for yourself, but that blur effect is just really debilitating. If anyone remembers when 366 AP was added, it would 1 tap the chest up to level 3 and would still sometimes 1 tap level 4. But it wouldn't 1 tap if you hit someone's arm. You hold your arms out in front of you while you're shooting obviously, and if you hit someone's arm it would lose enough pain and damage not to 1 tap. That also happens to AP20s. So in this clip, he has the 6B13, but I took the plate out. So I repeat, there's no plate in that armor. It reduces the damage enough for it not to 1 tap. Also, surprisingly, some of the bullets wouldn't penetrate the arm. With the new Recoil, all the guns feel better, and it's no different for the shotguns. You were able to rapid fire the shotgun and stay on point. But I think the SMGs, the SKS, the AKs, the M4, all of them get a lot more benefit from the lower recoil, especially the pump actions. The pump actions are not getting much from the lower recoil. Speaking of pump actions, you don't really see them anymore. They were never really meta, but they were pretty viable before inertia and damage fall off, because your opponent probably had horrible recoil, while with inertia you're able to play to cover better and you only needed 1 pellet to headshot. But now I much rather have a Makarov than the pump action on my scav runs. So now I'm going to start talking about the basic Buckshots, ignoring Piranha and Flechettes because those interact completely differently. Buckshot is subjected to extreme fall off damage. Even though a 7mm does 39 damage, it will not one tap headshot past a few feet. Like, you have to be right up in someone's face. This also really hurts its damage downrange. When it comes to damaging armor, it's a 1-to-1 ratio on most armors. 1 pellet equals 1 damage. A good coverage armor is obviously very good at stopping buckshot. I actually had an incident where 2 people tried to ambush me with saigas at medium range, and because I had good coverage, I propitoled, and they were at medium range. The accuracy was not good enough to hit all the pellets on me, and they weren't able to focus any of the damage. And after a long fight, I ended up winning, but the damage log was so long it went past the bottom of my screen. Now, you can definitely punish people with poor armor coverage, but I don't want to run into dorms with a shotgun being like, man, I sure hope he has a hex grid. In defense of shotguns, level 2 body armor is very vulnerable to blunt damage. If you land 1 to 2 pellets in the armpit and the rest on the level 2 soft body, you could actually finish them off with blunt damage. This isn't something that is very consistent, but it is worth noting. Limb damage. I talked about this earlier, but limbs have a lower damage multiplier, which means when you break them, the remaining damage is transferred to the rest of the body at a lower rate. What this means is Magnum Buckshot will no longer one tap the stomach like under a trooper or something. The KS shotgun is way less consistent in getting leg shot kills, sadly. Super performance can no longer 2-tap the legs, and you just gotta hit the limbs more if you're aiming at the limbs. It's too long. The CQC weapon's too big for dorms. It's too big. Parriha and Fletchettes. I think one is better than the other, but they're, in my opinion, the golden ammo of the shotgun right now. They both have the same amount of fall off, which is not much. Fletchettes have more pin, but Parriha has 2 more pellets, which gives it 50 more damage. But they are both able to pin level 2 soft armor. And for the most part, in armor testing, Parrihas and Fletchettes had the same hit to kill on a lot of armors, especially on the distance test where we didn't shoot at the plate point blank, but we backed up a bit. I think Parriha has a bit of an edge because it has more pellets, which gives it more chances to headshot. In games, I think people usually find comfort that shotguns allow you to be less accurate and let you get chip damage. I think the opposite is true for shotguns in Tarkov. So with spread in Tarkov, if you're too far from your target, you will miss a lot of your pellets. But there is a range where your spread is the same size as your enemy's torso. If you land center mass, you will land all 10 pellets, but because of the spread, some of the pellets will go around the plate. Not to mention that Parriha, ADV Fletchettes, has more total damage than AP20s. Realistically, in most engagements, if you're using lower pin ammo, you're not going to break someone's plate before you kill them, and that's just in most cases. But with higher damage, the ability to pin the level 2 soft armor, and more spread to give you more consistency, Parrihas had about the same hit to kill that they did at close range compared to being point blank, with enough pellets to avoid hitting the plate to get the kill. In terms of basic buckshot, I think Express is best. 7mm might be better in factory at extreme close range, but Express has more total damage, more pellets, and better accuracy. Magnum is still fine, it can still one-tap headshot, has much more recoil, but if you're lucky, you can still 2-tap legs. Sadly, it takes really bad fall off like the other buckshots. And then there's super performance. It has the best accuracy, the best velocity, and among the best damage. It is not a good round for close combat PvP, but I think it's a great round for your quest, especially the scav headshot kills. So there was a lot of comments on how shotguns always one tap, or how like, oh, I got one tapped by a slug wearing a full kit, and I don't think people actually think shotguns are overpowered, but I think that's them just venting to getting cheesed by Tarkov's mechanics. Scav shotguns aren't the only thing that can one tap you as a scav in terms of chest shots, and with so many quests requiring you to use shotguns, of course you're going to die to some if someone's quest is to kill someone with a shotgun. And I don't think shotguns aren't usable. I mean, they're clearly usable, and even pistols right now, rock pistols are pretty good. But I don't think they'll ever be the meta or anything like that, except maybe like the Saiga memeing in factory or something. And I like to thank Lou and Raph being my little test dummies. I wanted to test this more thoroughly. I wanted to be extremely autistic about it and do like 12 tests 3 times each at a certain range with every single armor. But I mean, this stuff just takes a lot of time. By all means, if you want to test it yourself and try to be more thorough, go for it. But I hoped you learned something, and this video took way too long to make. I don't want to do this again. This sucked.